Hi everyone, my name is Ashley. You can just call me Ash. I got pronouns she, her. I am trans. It's almost guaranteed that anybody who posts a trans video, a coming out video on YouTube is going to get a lot of hate. And that's really scary. It also feels somewhat unsafe for me and for those who are close to me. For the moment, I'm just going to talk about my coming out experience and what it was experientially like to come out to people. I'm not going to really talk about how I knew I was trans or any of the like more nitty-gritty details of the trans experience. I'm just going to talk about what I experienced as somebody who is a former Christian. That was instrumental in my formation, just because like that's a major part of my story, is being an evangelical Christian for a long time. And then I deconstructed my faith and became an atheist. After having deconstructed my faith and was like really kind of solidifying my morality and my philosophy of how to live, and like really kind of searching for who I really was, I just had this moment where someone asked me why it was playing D&D and why I always like to play female characters in D&D. I made up excuses in the moment or whatever. I said stuff. I don't remember exactly what I said. But I really started thinking about it later, and that moment when the thought occurs to you, hey, I might be trans. It felt so out of the blue. It felt like an earth-shattering moment of, holy crap, if this is true, I am in big trouble. My family is going to reject me. Like, they're all Christians, evangelical Christians. I'm probably going to lose a lot of my friends. And like people, my safety is at risk. It's super scary to even have that thought. And then as you start to do the research and you really just start digging into what's the experience like to be trans, and you start like ticking off the checklist of like, this is me, this is me, this is me. And then you just like, it resonates with you in your soul, and you are like, you don't have any other recourse but to just accept who you are and figure out how to deal with it. And there's lots of different ways to deal with it. And I knew the way that I had to deal with it was to transition. In my interactions with telling people and coming out, there was a very common response that I don't think many of the people who were doing this realized exactly what they were doing. But there was very much why are you doing this now? Like, why are you doing this now while the kids are still at home? Why are you doing this now? You know it might mess up your marriage. Like, why are you doing this now? It's going to upset your relatives. Everyone was talking about this like it was something that I was doing to them. Like I was doing this to my kids, doing this to my family, doing this to my marriage, doing this to my friends, doing this to my employer. And like, I'm not. What you're asking me to do is saying, why is your life more important than my comfort? That's what they were saying to me. They were saying, why aren't you waiting until it's more comfortable for me or for somebody else? And then they would turn around and either ask a question or imply or just outright state that you're being selfish. They would say that to me, that I was being selfish. And this is not me being selfish, because, and I haven't shared this with a lot of people, but my life was on the line. I barely even shared this with my therapist before coming out. I had this low grade hum in the background of my mind, and this energy that always made me repeat a phrase to myself. And this phrase that I had to repeat to myself is, I want to unalive. And I would just repeat it was like anything bad happened, I would just start like saying that in my head. Anything uncomfortable happened, I would start saying it. Anything embarrassing, I would just start saying that in my head, like just over and over and over again. It was the constant background of my life. And I worked with my therapist so hard on my self-talk. I would catch it. I would try to correct it. Like, no, you don't want to do that. Like, I would kind of redirect it into, no, it's okay that that's uncomfortable, or like whatever it was. I was really working on my self-talk. And like, I've been in therapy for 10 years, a little over 10 years now. And like, I was doing a lot of really hard work on making sure that I was healthy as I could be. But this underlying energy was just, it was zapping the life out of me. And I felt like I had just a couple years left before I wasn't going to have the energy to keep going, keep resisting, and where my life was actually going to be in danger, like really, truly in danger. And so why am I doing this now? Because I'm trying to figure out how to make it to the end of my life without artificially shortening it. Like, I'm not harming my kids by doing this. A dead parent is way worse than a gender change. A parent who goes through a gender change. It's just like, I don't even see how that's even like an issue, like a contest between those two. And I have a much richer life now. I have more ability to connect with people. I am healthier than I've ever been. I've dealt with more issues and stress than I ever have before, but I'm thriving. And just being around somebody that is thriving is way more healthy than being around somebody who's just drained and like barely trying to make it. I am at the point now where I am far more able to give, to be in a good relationship with other people, friends, family, romantic partners, but I had to transition to do it. And so I feel like it is a fundamentally wrong question, a wrong frame of reference, wrong thinking to frame this as me doing this to the world. This is who I am. I am a woman. That's where I'm most comfortable. That's where I thrive. That's where I live. That's what I love to be. That's who I am. And to tell me that I can't be that because it makes you uncomfortable, I think that is selfish. I've kind of come to a litmus test for anyone. I will talk to pretty much anyone as long as they pass this basic test, that they are willing to use my name and my pronouns, my preferred name and my preferred pronouns. Because what they are doing by doing that is showing not that they agree with me about any trans issue, but they see me and respect me as an adult, as a human being, as a person with whom they are in relationship with, however like superficial or deep that relationship is. And so if I just have cut out everybody out of my life who will not use my name and pronouns, I think that is basic human decency and respect that we need to have for each other. And I have it for you. And you should have it for me. I think there's just some things that we will never agree on, and that's okay, but we can still respect each other. What I wrote down here is, the voice would not go away. I would disassociate whenever I looked in the mirror. Something was still down there deep, suppressed, and biding its time to rear its ugly head. It's as if I had a dragon sleeping in its lair that might wake at any moment and lay waste to the nearby town, to all the work I had done building up my mental health and life. And I think I skipped a section here, and I wrote, transitioning killed the dragon. Like, the dragon is dead. The dragon does not exist anymore. It is gone. The first time I felt that freedom, like the very first time I think I remember feeling that freedom, is one night after I realized I was trans. I had not started HRT or done any medical intervention yet. I got a pair of women's pajamas and I went to bed as a woman in women's pajamas and just accepted and inhabited the space as a woman. And the voice was silent. This deafening silence that I fell asleep to that was absolutely glorious. Most of the time when I put my head up until that point, it was full of like negative thoughts and worries and anxiety. And like, I still get worries and anxieties, but like it was the kind of worry and existential worry and anxiety of, am I going to even survive? Like, am I going to be alive tomorrow? And that was gone for a brief moment when I went to bed as a woman. When I started HRT, 1 hour after I took my first dose, the voice was gone. Within 48 hours, the entire hum, the like background hum that was that voice, had completely vanished permanently, and it has not come back. I'm still alive. It may be an inconvenience to you. It may be uncomfortable for you to see me, but I'm alive and I'm doing well. And I feel like that's really important, and I don't think that's selfish. Yeah, and nobody believed me. I was like, are you sure? Until next time, I'm signing off as your neighbor Ash.